Since I'm waiting for the old planetary gear to arrive and to make comparison, and since I'm waiting also for approval from the customer, from the owner, to be able to use this planetary, that he's agreed to use this gear, let's talk about the 7.2.9. Alright? Usually it's suffering K3. That's the K3. K3 it's the small one that we have over there. Alright? It's suffering the K2. You see the planetary gear, it's in the middle, exactly. That's transferring the power from here to here. K2 it's here, K3 it's here. Alright? So K3, K2, they're suffering. I have seen the past burned. I have seen the past K2 that's been wrapped, let us say, burned planetary gears, stuff like that. The same thing also on the K3. Alright, fine. Now, if you pay attention, let us say on the first gear, here you have the gear, right? You have from number 1 to number 7, you have a neutral, and then you have reverse. Alright, what do you have here? K3, it's been engaged in all of the gears except the number 4. Alright, example to be a bit more easy understandable, to better explanation. Alright, when you engage the first gear, to have 4.377 gear ratio, alright, 4.377 to 1, this is what does mean that one, need to be engaged the B1, the B2, the B3, and the K3. Alright, for the second gear to give you 2.859 gear ratio, need to be engaged the B1, B2, and the K3. Now, the B1, B3, BR, and B2 has a big pistons, big clutches, and they're not suffering. The smaller drums, the K2, you're gonna tell me it's a big piston, right? It's not so big if you measure the surface, and if you see the clutches, they're not so wide. It's one of the thinnest clutches, okay? So they don't have a wide clutches. The K3 from the other side, there is a wide clutch, but it's not physically, you see the dimensions are smaller. So usually when the fluid, let us say you have the transmission oil for 100,000 kilometers, all right? You're not abusing the car, but you're pushing once monthly, once every 2 months, all right? When the fluid, let us say, when you're inside of the city, start and stop, all right? And the radiator fan is screaming because it's trying to cool down everything. It's trying to cool down the coolant, the oil, not the oil is bypassing anyhow. It's trying to cool everything down the radiator fan because you don't have enough airflow. The radiator fan usually it cannot produce more than 50 kilometers per hour in the best case, airspeed, wind speed, let us say, through the radiator. And it's not, you have seen, it's not like the air when you're cruising. It's different, let us say, when you're cruising with 60 kilometers per hour and different waiting from the radiator fan, even the 1000-watt radiator fan, to produce the air to cool everything down. What's the reason? You have seen me before in the past that I'm saying that the plastic covers that has down the car, the Mercedes, it's not there. It's there for a reason. But let us say on the Ferrari here. It's not, they didn't put this one by mistake. There is a reason why it has an opening here, let us say, to direct the air from here to be more efficient, to direct the air where it's supposed to go. Alright? Same thing also on the Mercedes. There is a principle behind the covers. It's not only to protect, let us say, the engine, because at the end of the day we're talking about plastic covers. I'm talking about these covers. That has also opening for the oil cooler, that you see that it has an air duct that's escaping down, and then you see that it goes, let us say, through the coolers, and then it's continuing through the bell housing, it goes down. Then there are some seals that comes here up, and they're sealing the bonnet with the upper piece here, so to don't come air from this side. They need to direct the air to come properly as been designed. So that's why it's not the ideal, if you like, in a hot country, to be inside of the city, start and stop, in a hot day, and you have, let us say, the transmission oil for 100,000 kilometers, all right? It's not, it does have the same pressure, it does have the same lubrication, it does have the same viscosity, if you like, you know, from this point of view. Now, some people are gonna say, but it's lifetime oil. Okay, good luck to whoever is not changing the transmission oil. Good luck. I wish you all the best. I hope to be like that, and you can be able to make 500,000 kilometers without any troubles. But what I have seen up to now, if you don't change the oil every 100,000 kilometers, or at least every 5-6 years, because there is contamination also, there is a breather that's breathing. And there is, let us say, it's cooling down and then it's warming up. This difference, it matters. Like the engine oil. It's oil at the end of the day. So, if you want to survive your transmission in a stock application, 100,000 kilometers, change the oil and the filter. I'm not saying to flush it, it's gonna be good to flush it. I mean, to empty also the MCT or the torque converter, it depends what transmission you have. At least get rid of the oil that has inside the oil pan and change also the filter. Clean the oil pan, clean the magnets, and then put the fresh oil. It's gonna give some more life to the transmission. Now, if you are pedal to the metal, if you have a tuned transmission, if you have a tuned car, let us say, or it's heavily tuned with the turbo upgrades and you're pushing the car hard and you're in a hot country, consider that you have to change the oil earlier. You know, it's the same principle, the same thing. Like, let us say, I'm changing, let us say, the engine oil today in my car, all right? And I'm going at the weekend in a racetrack, and I'm spending, let us say, I'm making, I don't know, 50 kilometers in the racetrack in one weekend. I'm staying there all day, for example. On Monday, I have to change again the oil. Why? Because in the racetrack, I'm using, let us say, from 5 to 7. 5,000 RPMs to 7,000 RPMs under full load the engine. It's not like when you're cruising with 2,000 RPMs or 1,500 with the cruise control, normal driving. You're pushing to the limit, you have much more stress on the engine, different temperatures, and the RPMs, it's between 5 and 7. The average, let us say, is going to be 5,500 RPMs, example, inside the racetrack. When you're driving daily the car, the average RPMs, it's 1,500 to 2,000 RPMs with these transmissions. So it's suffering. That's what I'm trying to say. To change the oil, I'm not saying, I have mentioned this to 1 million of our customers, to 1 million of my friends, let us say. I don't think that I have 1 million friends, but anyhow, or customers. To so many people, I have mentioned, I'm not saying that to come here and change the oil. You can change the engine oil wherever you want. You can change transmission oil wherever you want. You don't have to come, let us say, to make a trip and come here to change the oil or the engine oil or the transmission oil. What I'm saying, just change your oil. I'm not saying to come here. Don't misunderstand that we are trying, let us say, to sell oil or something. No, it's not that. That's not the case. This is the case. That for one part, I have one transmission inside of the engine room for a week. And I cannot continue because, guess what? Except of this transmission, I have another transmission next to it. Instead of moving on with the engines or with the transmissions, I cannot because I don't have the parts. You see how lovely, how beautiful is that? So by somebody changing the oil earlier, or let us say on time, and he's not keeping the attitude that, you know what, no, it's a lifetime oil, what's going to happen? You're not going to be here. You know, if you ask the customer or if you ask anybody, you want to pay this much money, let us say, to change clutches and all this shit, for example, if you just change earlier the oil, I mean, if you make 1 or 2 oil changes more, you're not going to reach on the price that you're going to spend to change clutches, seals, or any gear, whatever needed inside, to rebuild the transmission. From this point of view, yes, it will gonna have a wear, but different to have a wear like this. This application has 200,000 kilometers. Different to have a problem with the transmission at 200,000 kilometers. Different to have a problem at 100,000 kilometers. Regarding the seals, yeah, you cannot do something. You cannot do many things because they are rubber seals and they go bad from the time because being squeezed inside, because being compressed inside, because of the fluid, because of the gears. You cannot change that. But guess what? If this clutch was okay, if when I open it, it was not coming apart and it was not being burnt and all these things, I'll be able to use it again. And you're not gonna need to get, let us say, you're gonna get only seals, you're gonna change the seals, the main gasket, boom, everybody happy, let us say. For a stock application, it's fine. For upgrade, it's a different story. Same thing for the 7.2.6 here. My plan from the beginning was, okay, low mileage, yeah, it's 14 years old, 15 years old. Now we end up waiting for the bell housing because of the stupid oil pump, and this is what happened. Most probably they never changed the oil. Probably. I don't know. Only the owner he knows, or the garage where he went. If he make an oil change, 65,000 kilometers, if I remember right. But it's 14 years. So you're not You're not saying, okay, I have only 65,000 kilometers and I'm okay. If it passed, let us say, 30 years, the oil, it's not an oil anymore. It's been contaminated even from the atmosphere, from the air. That's my point of view. That's my point. Change the engine oil, change the transmission oil. There are fluids, it's maintenance. Stop saying that's a lifetime. You're gonna find this in front of you. It's not about me. Me, I don't care. Me, I'm a mechanic. I'm an employee here. All right? So, you get my point, right? It's not about selling oil or something. Go to anybody, to whoever you want, or do it by your own if you want, if you like. Get the filter, get the oil, train it, fix it, and finish the story. Everybody happy. You're not gonna have this kind of headaches. Or at least, you're not gonna have so serious problems to require, let us say, to get a new used transmission, to get the parts from the other one to dress one healthy. It's happening this all the time. I have mentioned that before. Now it's 11 minutes. I'm talking to myself. Okay, yeah, and most probably nobody cares about what I'm saying. Yeah. Before, there are people that they bought 3 transmissions, used one, that was running, let us say, for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then there was going bad again. Why? Yes, it was very low mileage transmissions. It was with 50,000 kilometers. Outside, it was looking excellent. Inside, it was 15 years old transmissions. The seals, there was not in good shape. So you put a new fluid, you put, let us say, a new filter, and then when it comes to pressure and squeezing, it has some leak. It has some leak from the drums. It has some leak from the solenoids. There is a rate of leak, and it's been calculated. This doesn't mean that you're gonna make a transmission rebuild every year, all right? But you are reaching at one point that little bit from the solenoid, little bit from the solenoid valve housing, little bit from the drums, you push a little bit the car or it's tune the car, and then you start melting clutches, you overheat inside everything, then you have contaminated everything, and then start failing things here and there. That's my point of view. You want to change your oil, change it. You don't want to change your oil, there's no problem. For me, it's the same thing. That's what I have to say. Thank you. No, what thank you? I'm still waiting. That's why I'm talking to the video. That's why I have spent now 12 minutes on that. What did I say? K2 and K3, right? That's the most that they're suffering. You can see on the previous transmission builds or repairs, you can see that K3 and K2, it can go bad also the rest. It's not, this doesn't mean that only the K2 and the K3 have a problem, alright? It can go bad the rest, but it's rare, it's difficult. There is a problem, let us say, with the output shaft sometime on the high output cars, or let us say if you put a slick and you're launching the car, or if you are throwing in parking while it's moving a little bit, let us say you are moving slightly with 5 kilometers and you put the parking in the car to make this movement, it's not the best. Don't do that. Again, I'm talking about you, about your car, I'm not talking about me. That's why I'm giving some advices. If you don't like it, just pass it. Output shaft, I have said that before. If you see that when you try to open the transmission, if the output shaft, you have removed it and stay inside, that means compromised here. If you try to put the parking brake, it's not sliding inside easily, you're not going to be able to close the transmission because you're going to find a problem to align the clutches if it has a drag here. It's supposed to go freely inside. So some mechanics still can understand what I'm saying. With the valve housing, take your time, clean it properly, wear some gloves to don't be contaminated. You are doing once. The kit, it's nice for the 72.6. I'm talking about the kit for the sleeves that has an O-ring, not this one. These are the stock one. I don't know why we bring it to me here. That's here. It's nice because it's sealing better, so all the wear it goes away because you put the sleeve, let us say, inside with an O-ring, and you have perfect fit. It's tight. It doesn't have a leak. For the shifting, it's nice. If you tune the transmission, it's not bad. It might increase the fuel consumption by what? By nothing, actually. No, I don't believe that we're gonna increase the fuel consumption, but you're gonna have a little bit more pressure inside the drums. You're gonna be a little bit more fast. It's not bad. It's not bad. Consider it as an upgrade, let us say. Update, not upgrade. Update. Yeah, as an update on the software. Yep, that's it. I'm not saying to make a tune for the transmission to be super hard and kicking, let us say, the gears and this kind of stuff. Something normal. just to increase a little bit the pressure on the drums, the operation pressure, let us say. Or let us say in the hot country you can play with a thermostat that's attached on the cooler. I have mentioned that before. There is one small brick like this and has a thermostat inside with a spring. The spring will determine when you're gonna open the thermostat. You can modify a little bit the spring. I have mentioned this years ago. It's not something new. What else? You see, waste your time with me, right? Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna close now. When I'm gonna receive the planetary gear, I'm gonna start again the camera. Except if I remember something else, and I'm gonna continue talking. Yay! Beautiful Friday today. How lovely.